to another episode of Indie Film Spotlight. I have the pleasure of interviewing someone that I didn't know existed until I was working on set, and he was riding his bike, and I met him, and it turned out to be probably one of the biggest filmmakers actually in Poughkeepsie, my hometown. So Derek White, ladies and gentlemen. Derek, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I'm Derek White. I'm a local Hudson Valley videographer, filmmaker. I was born and raised here. Lived here my whole life, except for a small stint in Hawaii. I've just been filming for a very long time. Been in love with movies for a very long time. I just like to tell stories visually. So, that's me.
So what kind of got you into filmmaking? Like, what was the thing that you're like, that's what I want to do for a living?
There's a few things, and it's like, if I go back and look, it's, I can see where it wasn't just like, oh, I because of this I want to do this, but partly because first of all, my dad, he's like a hobby photographer, but he's incredible. He always has cameras, and it's funny because like all of our family pictures, if wherever we are, we always travel and stuff. If we're in Chicago, it's like my entire family with my dad or my entire family with me, because we're the ones that take the pictures of the family. But so he definitely instilled at a very early age, whether he meant to or not, taking photos. I just liked capturing a moment. I thought it was so cool. It's so unique that I got to do it. And when he would give me this camera, I thought he was giving me like, I was holding a house. Like, that's how expensive I thought this thing was. And so I just felt like almost powerful, and my dad gave that to me at such a young age. So I kind of just started from there. And then my grandfather, he was a photographer as well. When he passed away years ago, I found out, I knew he was a photographer in Korea, in the Korean War. But looking at his pictures, it's like unbelievable to see the quality of pictures he was taking overseas at such a young age with these crazy cameras that, now, sure, if me and you touched him, I don't know. So when he passed away, I kind of found out that he had all these like reels of footage and slideshows. And my dad told me something that I don't know how, we didn't know this, but he would always just show my dad's side of the family, they would have slideshows every year. He lived in Inwood in Manhattan, but they'd come up to the Hudson Valley to their cousin's house, and they would have these parties, and at the end they would show videos and pictures, and I thought that was so cool because I was already into it. But so definitely my dad and, my parents and my grandfather, but Star Wars, dude.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I love Star Wars.
Star Wars changed my life. I have Star Wars tattooed on my body.
Same.
So Star Wars changed my life because, my dad would always show us music. I'm a big Kiss fan, so obviously instilled at a young age. He just showed us all this rock and stuff. But when he showed us Star Wars, like, we hadn't really seen it. And then in 1997, I just turned 7. My dad brought me to the South Hills Mall in Wappingers, and we saw, we saw the redone version, the remastered version that like everyone hated at the time of Star Wars Episode 4. And I don't want to sound like everyone else that watches Star Wars, but that first initial scene where like the ship just keeps on going over you, and the music, the way it almost like slows down, and it's like you think the ship is gone, but it's not. And I don't know, something about John Williams' score with that shot immediately. Even my dad says I was looking like this, at the whole movie and stuff. From there, we saw 5 and 6. Episode 1 came out in 1999, and I loved the story. At an early age too, I found out about the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, and I just thought it was something that I recognized that I liked to read, I liked to know about, but it wasn't like soccer or sports or the things I was into like that. So I guess around that age, I had enjoyed it, and I know I'm going really far in this, but later on, my dad got me a film camera, VHS camera. It has like this little VHS.
Yeah. Oh, things. I had that too.
Yeah, it didn't even have the side thing. It just had the panel or the viewfinder, and I would just film everything. So I have stuff of me and my friends growing up from the age of like 9 till now, of just random moments in time, and looking back on them, it's incredible because it's there's no parental supervision. It's just a kid with a camera. And I think that was the funny part too. I would show up at my friend's house with this camera. I always had a video camera, and their parents would be like, I want to call your parents. Is that their camera? I'm like, no, it's mine. Do they know you have that? Because it's like, you don't normally see a kid with that. We had Razor scooters, and we were doing stuff, kind of like stuff on Jackass,
Yeah, no,
Johnny
I was
Knoxville and stuff like that.
literally my childhood. We had the family camera that we'd use for events, and then my dad would go in. I'm like, hey, can I borrow the camera? He's like, yeah, sure. They didn't really. I don't know why they didn't care, but they were just like, yeah, go ahead. And like literally, I was the one kid with the camera, and they're like, what are you guys doing today? We're gonna shoot a movie. And it was
Yep.
literally, we did Jackass style things where it was like, we called it, I think it was like one of my first YouTube videos. It was like called Stuntmen. And it was like stupid stuff. Like we were kids. It was my friend on a bike pulling me on a smaller bike with like a leash in front of us. And I'm like, wow, that was cool. Now let's do it on a sled on the pavement. And it was just like silly stuff like that. But I didn't know that would be the launching grounds
Right.
of the storytelling like you mentioned. I mean, it's crazy the impact that film has. It's a medium where it's like, painting, it's different. It's just like you get a feeling from seeing these moving. I want to say moving pictures because there's like something about just the composition of stuff, the storytelling, where it's not just like, oh hey, this is like speaking. A big thing with film is like, I was always taught, show don't tell, and that's what I love about filmmaking, because you can just tell so much without saying anything. And especially what you said with the pictures, it's just like you see a picture, it's just like, wow, there's just so much happening in just a single frame. Now let's do that with a bunch of other frames. It's like a movie with it.
Yeah, and I think also too, it's instilled in time. So it's things we can't even really recognize now. I'm a wedding videographer. I've shot over 100 weddings, and some of my first weddings, they reach back out to me and they're like, this video is hilarious because of the phones you're using in the video. Or I do like a behind the scenes video, like a long cut, so they get basically the entire day's coverage as like a behind the scenes kind of look. It's like a very like guerrilla filmmaking type of feel, but it just shows like the sports teams that people were talking about back then, or like I said, the phones people were using. But also too, you get to see your relatives and friends all in one space there for you, but like to see them move, even if that shot is 4 seconds long or 10 seconds long, to see someone actually move in an image and to have that forever, it's a family heirloom. And I think that with all these videos I shot back then, the Jackass, the Stuntmen videos, it's just funny to look back because it's like, wow, these are just like these little tiny moments, but those are the moments that are so like powerful, and it only gains value with time. So I also think that with visuals, and I like what you said. I'm a very visual storyteller. I'm all about like the Mad Max beginning where there's no talking, or there's what's it called? There Will Be Blood. It's like the first 12 minutes of the movie. It's like exactly who the character is, what they're about, where you are, the setting, everything, and they don't say a word. It's just some baby cooing and stuff like that. But stuff like that kind of drives me, and I'm enamored by that. And it's tough for my fiance because I'm like, what? I cannot let this movie go on. I need to see that again. Like, especially when the movie starts like that. I'm like, let's just restart 10
just
minutes.
Restart it real quick. I just need to see it one more time. I mean, there's nothing. I think the greatest feeling is watching a movie for the first time. I talk about people this. If I could, I wish I could like watch movies again for the first time, because there's just something about the impact with watching. It's just like, I think the big thing for me that's like what's kind of grounded my feelings in film is just like the feelings that you can make through these quiet times with no one talking. It's just like the storytelling that can be told. It's not just like a verbal thing. It's a visual. Like it's like almost, it's crazy. And also going back to like what you were saying with filming, you're looking back, it's almost like memories. Like I think as humans, we just are always trying to look back. And I think with video, it's just like, oh, hey, this is a video for my 5th birthday. It's like, oh, you don't think it's important in the moment, but like really looking back, it pulls at your heartstrings. It makes you feel something. And I think that's what I love about filmmaking. Even in that, you're just like recording that
Yeah.
stuff. It's just like almost like you can always go back to it. You can always look back. You can always watch one of your favorite movies from like the 70s, and you're still going to get that same feeling
Yeah.
or even
And
a
like you,
different feeling.
yeah. And like you said too, like seeing a movie or seeing something for the first time and something that really catches you, like one that comes to mind right now is, I remember going to see Whiplash in the $2 theater.
Yeah.
And, at the time, Damien Chazelle was just like not on my radar. And you know, leaving the movie theater, I was blown away. And there's been a bunch of movies that have done that to me, but those, like, anytime you see that movie, like, you're passing through, you're like, oh man, let's just put it on at least for a few minutes or something, because you just get that feeling again of like, why you like movies and why you're doing this. And you leave the theater and you're like, I want to film, I want to do something, I want to do that. And it's like, so those moments are few and far between with COVID, because you can't go to the movie theater. And I think the movie theater is like the best thing in the world.
I know. I could talk about it forever. I mean, I was actually talking to my friends about this. Like, unfortunately, with film, with COVID and all the stuff going straight to streaming, it's like almost even before COVID, we were seeing a lot of like not movies, but like mini series, like the HBO thing that we met each other on. It's like that was like basically 6 movies in one. Like there's a lot of places that are like kind of getting away because, again, attention span and also streaming is kind of, I don't know if it's, I don't want to say destroying the film industry, but it's changing it. I think the traditional way of watching like an hour or 2-hour film is slowly kind of getting out of there, because now we're watching episodes of shows that are like an hour or like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I think, and also just the storytelling you can tell in a 6-part miniseries or like a show is just, I think it's a little more powerful than filmmaking. Like, don't get me wrong, I love movies and all that stuff, but I just think the way that we're going, I'm interested to see, if movie theaters are going to be, I don't want movie theaters to go away, but I want to see how they kind of like come back from this. Cause I know it was a big thing, like if no one is going to leave their house, I mean, I'll never, if there's like a premiere of a movie that I want to see, it's in the theater. I don't think I'm going to rent a movie and watch it on TV unless it's like a second viewing or something.
Yeah, you need it on the big screen, not the silver screen.
Yeah, and until I get like a McMansion around here and I have like a basement where I can project my own IMAX films, I don't think that's going to happen.
Same, dude. I'm right there with you.
So tell me about like your first, I guess, like job in film. Like you're finally getting paid, or not even paid, just like your first, getting yourself out there, getting your foot in the door.
Yeah. So I think, so for a while, I went to college. I left college, due to other things going on. And then I ended up moving out to Hawaii with my brother. And while I was out there, I had a GoPro. And GoPros were like all the rage. I couldn't believe I had enough money to save up for one and go to Hawaii. It was like, so, I brought it out there. I had this like little tiny hand stabilizer for it. But I just loved that I could like edit. And I got back to editing because, I did it in college at Utica. But I just kind of fell out of love with it there. And no offense to Utica, I think it's a great school, but there was just something about the application of things. Like I wanted to get hands-on and I wanted to get dirty and learn more about film. So I feel like when I went out to Hawaii, I got this little camera and I loved it. So when I moved back to Poughkeepsie, everyone's like, why'd you move back to Poughkeepsie? It's expensive out there. But so, when I came back, I just was like, I've seen a lot of weddings. There would be a Tuesday, a Wednesday. You see weddings on the beach, like people taking pictures. And I would just always be like, wow, look at that camera. Oh, that lens is cream colored. Why? That's so cool, So I just kind of went home, started working in the restaurant industry right down the road here at Millhouse Brewing Company. And once I got there, I was like, I want to continue what I've loved my whole life, what I've been striving for my whole life. So I got a Nikon T5100 and like a Nifty 50. And from there, because when I went to college, these things did not exist yet. It was, we had these ENG style cameras. And and you're setting shutter angle, doing all the stuff that you normally do now, but just working on these machines that I'm not working on anymore.
Yeah, no, it's like they all do it themselves.
Yeah. And then when I left school, the Canon 5D Mark II came out, and I couldn't believe, I was like, my friend made something. It was just like a video portrait for like his communications class or something. I was like blown away because of the depth of field, because
Yeah,
it was full frame.
yeah.
And you just get all these things. So immediately I was like, I need to start saving up. So over the years, I just kept on working, buying more stuff, more camera bodies, which was kind of the dumb thing to do. I should have invested in glass. And
Always
then
invest in glass.
yes, biggest thing ever. I've gone through a million cameras. It's ridiculous at this point. But so kind of goes into the story now. That was the preface. When I had visited Hawaii, and I've been there a few times. My brother's roommate's sister was getting married, and when I was out there, they were out there. We were just talking. They're like, "Hey, do you want to shoot our wedding?" And I got to be honest, I was younger, and I thought shooting weddings was just like an unhonorable job, just like not a real way of making a living. Because also too, going back into younger years, I wanted to do video and I wanted to get into broadcasting, and everyone's like, it's very hard, and you're not going to get paid well, and it's long hours. So everyone's kind of not discouraging me, but just telling me, the truth, so that, when it finally came around to doing like a wedding, I was like, I don't really want to do this. But you know what? I think it would be a cool opportunity. I get paid to shoot a video. That sounded like the coolest thing to me. So I did a wedding for like $150 in Schenectady. And it was, for the time, I thought it was the best thing ever. And obviously, no offense to the couple, because we love them. They're great friends of ours. But, comparatively now, it's like definitely not my favorite video I've ever made, So it was a learning experience. It was, being on a wedding, it's not easy, especially being a one-man band. That you have multiple cameras and audio, and there's so many variables that can go wrong, and not one wedding ever went according to plan. And so it was scary, and I was like, you know what? I don't even think I could do this, because it was stressful. And the one thing that was like digging at me was like, I don't want to lose footage. I don't want to do a bad job for a couple. But then as time went on, I stopped being a big wuss, and I said, that this isn't that kind of job. I was so like, I let my ego get in the way, and I was like, you know what? This is, I know people make a really great living doing this. So I just the next year I did 2 weddings. The following year I did 5. And then the following year I did 30. And then I did 40. And then, now I'm over 100 weddings, and it is still a huge part of my business, a massive part of the business. And I love it. I love being there, shooting the shit with the couples, because that's what it is. You're with them all day. So you want to build some type of friendship, and it has to work for both. At the beginning, you just grab anything you can get. But now, I wouldn't call it a luxury, but you get the opportunity to, kind of pick and choose your couples. But here's the thing, like the more you shoot, the more like your style is honed in. You don't try and make a style, it just kind of naturally happens. And I feel like the right couples now find you, but it's just the common denominator for everything is time. So I think with time, now at least in the wedding world and in the Hudson Valley, I think a decent standing video wise, but we're expanding from there. So that was my first experience though. That one wedding, it was a very hot day. I crashed my drone. I had to get it down. Not only that, I had to leave it in a tree because I had to do the rest of the wedding. I had to get it from the tree at like 10 p.m. at night, and it was dark out, and it was just a crazy experience. And I also didn't have the best car. My driver door didn't open. It was just yeah. But yeah, I look back on it, and it's just, it's funny. Now I do them so often. It's, it's looking back on it, it really is funny the way I worked and the way I was feeling. But yeah, that was my first one.
Yeah. So with that being said, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. I mean, it's basically all you do now. Not all you do, but it's something that you do often. You want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and kind of your company that you're working with now?
Yeah. So, D-White Visuals is, has grown in the past 5 years, like I was saying, without, besides weddings, we do, corporate videos, we do a lot of social media content, and we just like to get the word out about companies in a very cool, non-corny way. And, we've been doing a lot of things. Like we have a couple of national broadcast commercials. I also freelance, so I do some work for Major League Soccer and my favorite team, NYCFC. These guys up here, big fan of them. And I played soccer in college. I played at Spakenkill, where I went to high school. Soccer is like my life. So that's probably my favorite thing I do right now as a freelance videographer for my D-White visuals. I'm actually shooting this Saturday. Can't wait. It's always very fun, especially after COVID. I cannot wait to get back out there. But now, D-White Visuals is, my own freelance thing, and it's going to continue. But it's kind of taken a backseat. So, the freelance stuff I do for NYCFC or, these small like weddings and stuff like that, that's D-White Visuals. But this, everyone should know this in the film industry. And, you're kind of really in there, you're working on these big sets, and, it's beautiful. I just liked being around it. So I would just find where you guys were, and I'd ride my bike there. And that's why you saw me all the time.
And I always saw you. I saw you with your bike. I'm like, oh, there's Derek again. I'm like,
I remember like the second time you were like, what are you doing here, dude? What do you keep coming back here?
I was like,
I just like seeing it. I just want to get a glimpse.
Well, so I was saying, whenever I saw you, I was like, yo, I'm over here. Come here. I'll let you stand pretty close, bro. Don't worry. I'll be cool.
And I appreciated that, because I just liked being there and seeing what it took, because, it takes an army. So having said that, over the years, I just noticed that, there's a cap to doing stuff on your own. And in fact, it's not fun doing things on your own. The moment you find the right people to work with, and then once you find those people, it's like an explosion. The world becomes way bigger. The ceiling is way higher. It's almost just like, because, just from past conversations, I know you're a group of friends, you guys do it all, because you guys have, the right idea, the right, vision of things, but you guys direct, write, and shoot things, right? Am I correct with that?
Oh, yeah,
right?
No, we do it all.
So we're trying to build something like that. So me and my, my assistant, second shooter for all D-White visual stuff is Steve Miele. He owns 1000 Films. He's also really great shooter. He actually, one of his biggest clients is Sloop Brewing Company.
Yeah,
so they have a really cool video account, and it's his stuff, and we help each other on all of our stuff. So it's just he's a great guy. Similar things that I like, he likes. So we decided to kind of make a bigger umbrella and not call it D-White Visuals, because D-White Visuals has become more popular, and I'm very thankful and blessed for that. But I want to create something that doesn't have my name in it. It's a bigger production umbrella, and we kind of go 150%. And having said that, 150% with a local budget. So we got some fun toys and some great cameras and stuff like that. But we just want to step things up. So we created Good Time New York. That's the bigger umbrella, and then under it is Good Time Film Company, which is me and Steve's production company that we hope expands into a large team, and it's already kind of happening. And then we also got lucky enough in December, we got a great opportunity. We have a studio opening up in Main Street, Poughkeepsie. It's called Good Time Film Studio. But it's our home base. We're going to rent it out to other shooters alike, but it doesn't have to be a videographer. Any forms, any medium of art. So if you want photographers there, we have a lot of things for photographers. If you want to have a viewing party there for a video you shot.
Wow, that's actually
really
cool.
Yeah, we have this huge cyclorama. It's actually 30 feet long. It's 20 feet on one side. There's a corner, 15 feet on the other. We have a bunch of cool Pavo tubes on the top, RGB. We got a bunch of fun things. We got a red Komodo coming, a bunch of raw capable cameras that you can rent within the studio. But our whole thing is we want to make it affordable and cheap. Because when I was in high school, I was in the first communications class at Spakenkill, and I was a senior. Everyone there was like a freshman. They're like, why are you in this class? I'm like, because this is like what I like. This is what I want to do. I've been pushing for something like this for a long time. So, I think we just want to show at least the residents of Dutchess County initially, and especially Poughkeepsie, that, we'll give you guys, just tell us what you want to do, and, let's figure it out. We want you in the space. We want everyone to, have a cool spot to do stuff, and including ourselves. And we've been waiting for this for many years, and now that we're about to be in June, we're about to be open, and I can't wait to get you in there.
Yeah,
Hoping
dude,
you
I'm
utilize
excited. Are
it.
you kidding me? I
Yeah.
saw that and I was like, I gotta see, because I saw you guys posting it. Like, I'm always checking up on your D White account. And I'm always like,
Mhm.
oh, sick, Derek's posting new stuff. And then I saw the Good Time Studios. I was like, oh, what's this? And I clicked on it. I followed it because it's like, oh, Poughkeepsie. I'm a really big Hudson Valley. I'm a big Hudson Valley film advocate. Like bring film here, um, get more involved with that stuff. And then I saw it and I was just like, oh my God, that's Derek. And I was just like watching all the videos. I'm like, oh my God, that's a studio. I'm like, oh my God, he's bringing a studio right in Poughkeepsie. I'm like, that's the
Yeah.
prime location.
Yeah, especially where it is. It's right on Main Street in downtown.
Oh,
So yeah,
dude,
we're very excited.
I bet, because I'm super excited for that. I'm
Yeah,
excited
well,
to get in there.
we want people like you in there. This
Oh,
space
thanks,
is
man.
exactly for people like you, and we love to have you, and create a bigger friendship. Who knows, down the road, 10 years, 12 years, we might
Yeah.
be creating some crazy stuff together.
Derek, I would love that. I would love that. And dude, and it's great that you are creating the space for people, because I think the Hudson Valley has such great resources, whether it be the artists, whether it be the community. It's just all this untapped resource and potential that I'm like, we're finally seeing all this, like all these artists come out like you. I didn't know there was other like big like video people out here until I met you, riding your bike. Like, I met you riding your bike and I was like, oh, hey, I'm like, I remember you from Shotsies. I'm like, yeah, oh, Derek. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you shoot video. And then like we just kind of hit it off. And then just like finding other people, who are doing similar things, and just like having this common ground spot where we can all kind of come together and create. I mean, like nothing can't get done you can do stuff by yourself, but like things really happen when you come together and you get the right people in the right space. And I think what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you, man.
And
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see where this goes. And I can't wait to follow up and see how, when it's open, and like, see how things are next year. And I just can't wait to see how, honestly, I think it's going to blow up, because I think the Hudson Valley is going to blow up in film, especially after,
Yeah. Oh my
we were
God.
ramping up before
It's
COVID.
crazy.
It kind of took it down because of COVID, but I think it's really going to ramp up.
Yeah, I mean, with all the new news about stuff going on in New Windsor and Newburgh, and there's, I don't know if I can name drop a couple places. I'm just a fan of all this places, but Umbra Stages and Choice Films and stuff.
Oh my God, Summer and Tony are like the greatest. They're like the pioneers. They're the ones who kind of like inspired me to be such a big advocate for the Hudson Valley. I mean, that was one of my first movies I ever worked on, was with them. And just
what was the movie?
Trick. I don't know if you've watched it.
Oh,
it was it was Patrick Lucier. He did My Bloody Valentine, and Todd Farmer, who did Jason X, he wrote it. They wrote it together. It was great. I was a props assistant on that.
Cool.
It was an indie film. I got to do a little, I got to do a little more than just, Thor was the prop master. He, such a great guy, taught me everything. He's one who really got me into on-set film life. Like I was, I never thought that I'd ever work on a film. I thought I'd just be shooting in my backyard and stuff, but like he really helped me out getting into it, and just seeing, the different aspects and stuff. And Summer and Tony, what they have, I mean, same kind of deal on a bigger scale. I mean, they just expanded Umbra. They have a fourth stage. I drive past it when I go through New Windsor. It's not at their main base. Because when HBO,
they have like an old, I think someone took over the old Anthony's Pier 9.
Yes, I'm not sure who that is though. Okay. That's still unknown. I have no idea. They took over. So the Umbra's in like an old, I think it was like a motorcycle factory or something, and they had the one stage, and then the second stage, but they weren't really utilizing it until HBO came, when they were shooting I Know This Much Is True, and they really utilized that whole space, because it's a crew who's used to working at Silver Cup that has all this stuff, and it's just like this small. I mean, for Umbra, for what it is, it had had so much to offer, and that's another thing people don't realize. The space is up here. You're not confined to the city park. It's like there's just so much room. You could literally go out. I mean, there's been so many films I've worked on up here that we're in the middle of nowhere, and like the lockups are nothing. Like I remember I was working on this Netflix job out in Red Hook, and it was just like it was like maybe like 12 o'clock at night, and it was just like we're in the middle of nowhere, and I don't have to worry about, it was nice, and I just didn't have to worry about too much. But it's like, no one's like walking up into set, like on the
Right.
street, or like
Right.
and I mean, the big thing is, we leave a big footprint. We take up a lot of space, especially when it comes to big stuff. And I know a lot of people weren't happy when we were filming around Poughkeepsie and closing down streets. I remember somebody yelled at me, he was like, "This isn't Hollywood," and I'm like, "I know," and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I know. I'm sorry." That's like the one thing that I was just like a little bummed, because it's my hometown.
Right.
We are inconveniencing people, but hey, look, Mark Ruffalo, look at that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Look, now traffic's going. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Look what it's done. I feel like, I don't know. My buddy worked at a brasserie, and Mark would come in all the time, and he wouldn't be like, "Oh, hey, Marco, I know you," and stuff like that. But we just like shoot the shit with him, and I just love stories like that. Where like people are just like, that's what's happening. People are coming to town. I know there's a couple A24 things going on.
Oh my god, yeah, A24, Brand Free. I never thought I'd see him again. Yeah. That's also happening at Umbra.
Yeah, I keep applying for extra positions, and it's like all stuff in like New York City still, but you occasionally will see stuff in the Hudson Valley in Putnam County or something. I'm like, oh my god. So I'm still trying to put my finger on the pulse of things, and I'm not as in there as you are, but I love all that stuff. Just being around it is like enough for me. You can like, I don't want to sound corny, like you can feel it, but like there's a certain energy to like a film set where it's like, that's the reason why people could stay long hours and go above and beyond, and do the things that are unseen on a movie set, and they're okay with it because the outcome is awesome. And I just think it's super neat to be around such a big production, but around such passionate people that literally you can handpick any one of these people, and they probably have an amazing script lying around, or an amazing idea that they have for a shot somewhere, and it's like it's all there. All the pieces are there. So it's cool to see. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I met Alex Hacker. We did the interview with him. He's an amazing, right? He was the assistant director. He was Derek's assistant. Yeah. His assistant, and it's just like, we really got to know each other, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I write some scripts and stuff, you want to read one?" And I was just like, I mean, I will say to this day, Alex, if you're watching this, I'm your biggest fan. As your friend, I'm your biggest fan, and I love your stuff. But it's just like, there's just so much potential everywhere you go, especially on film site, because like you'll meet a grip who's actually, on the side, I'm actually, doing camera, I'm shooting my own film. It's like, it's just the people you meet and the energy you get from working alongside these like creative people. It's just it's electric. I miss it. I'm glad it's coming back. I can't wait to get back into it.
Let's go.
It's just, it gets you in a mood, man. And you're and honestly, you too, like just seeing you guys build this studio and stuff. It's just like, all right, things are happening. All right, let's do this. Let's make this happen. We're trying to make,
with all the film stuff going on, we're trying to make our little dent in there. And
we need places like that. There can't. There's always going to be HBO, but like, how did that start? We have to have these places for people to start, because hey, HBO is big now, but Good Time Film Company, that's going to be the next big thing. Or Good Time New York. I'm sorry, I butchered that.
No, it's good. Well, I know. Honestly, I have to clarify with everyone, because people are like, I see a bunch of Good Time stuff. Good Time New York is like our umbrella with everything underneath, because we plan on doing more in the future, and we're very confident in that. So the Good Time Film Company is our production, and it's a Good Time Film Studio. It's all the same, so it's all good.
Sounds good. But like, even going back to that, so like, what was like the process of getting that all together? Like, I feel like a lot of people, like, what is like what's the nitty gritty behind that? Like, how one day you're just like, what? Hey Steve, let's make this. Like, what after that? What was the next step? Like, what was getting that all started? Like,
we started right before COVID. We started a videographer meetup, and we thought we were gonna get like 5 people there. We ended up getting like 30 at Shotzi's, and I was paying for everything. I was like, oh my god! But luckily, my buddy,
it's like,
but it was awesome though.
It was great. Awesome. I'm glad you guys all came. But hey, actually, can you guys Venmo me?
No, Shotzi's hooked it up and stuff, and they're so nice about events and stuff like that. But my other buddy Ross, I have to give him credit. We hosted it together. He also paid for half because it was just a lot. So thank you, Ross. But so we started this, videographer meetup, and I was just blown away at everyone saying the same exact thing. We know who each other are. We know all this stuff, but you come into Shotzi's and you're like, where is it? Oh, I think they're over there. I'm just gonna, and then, you know, someone's like, oh, come over here. I know you, you're a videographer. And next thing you know, at the end of the night, everyone's a little loose, a little tipsy, and everyone's friends. That's the way it should be. You know, there's so much, you know, competitiveness. Having said that, you know, from my own point of view, there's a lot of camaraderie, and it's just, the only reason there's competitiveness is like, you know, someone might think your stuff rocks, and they might be like, screw him, he sucks, or something like that.
Yeah.
Until you introduce yourself, look someone in the eye and shake their hand. Next thing you know, you're friends with them, you know? So I think that is just, you know, a little silly, but I just want to get everyone together and kind of just, you know, build a bigger collective of people, like-minded people. We don't have to shoot each other stuff and stuff like that, or even show each other some stuff. But if we can kind of bullshit and talk to each other about the things we're working on, stuff like that, that's good enough for me. So the turnout was phenomenal. And me and Steve, we're just like, you know, after COVID, we're like, oh, I wish we could do this. I wish we could do this. Wish we could have our own space. That's what we say all the time, you know, with our shoots with Halftime, Hudson Taco, or, you know, whoever it is, with Sloop. You know, we don't have a space. So we everything's done in this house in the city of Poughkeepsie. You know, we're doing stuff in the backyard. We shot music videos here, short films, interviews, testimonials, crazy things here. And we were just begging for a space. Everyone is, right? You know, we had an opportunity. A good friend of mine owns the building that we're going to move into, and he was just saying how Poughkeepsie's exploding, and how do we make Poughkeepsie better than just a lot of people moving here? We got to build businesses. We got to bring people in, but also too, and no offense to Beacon or Kingston, because I love Beacon.
Yeah,
Kingston. I love the
those
people
places, but like,
Beacon
come on, Poughkeepsie, PK,
yeah.
man.
Well, you know, I know a lot of Kingston people are mad with what's going on and with city people moving down. And again, too, I love city people too. It's, you know, so just coming from a Hudson Valley, Poughkeepsie perspective, you know, Poughkeepsie's been on the come up, people have been saying, but now it's getting into the steeper incline.
It's the best of both worlds. It's a metropolitan and also like rural area where it's like, it's a city, but it's like the same vibe as a city, but you're not overwhelmed by the mass of it. You know, I mean, with New York City, there's always something to do every day. Not that there isn't in Poughkeepsie, like, oh, you can jump on a train and be like a whole nother part of, you know, New York. But it's like with Poughkeepsie, so the big thing I like about the Hudson Valley, you could be a Poughkeepsie, but like, hey, like you said, Beacon, let's go to Beacon. Something's happening in Kingston, you know, it's a drive away.
Yeah,
you know,
or a train ride away.
Or a train ride, yeah. I mean, Beacon, taking the train from Poughkeepsie to Beacon's like, I just discovered
it all the time.
My girlfriend's cousin does it all the time, because I don't know what we were. We were like hanging out. I think we went to Mahoney's one night, and they're like, oh, we took the train. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. Like they live in Beacon, and they're like, yeah, it's like $5 if they bother you. And it's like,
even if they check, you just stand between cars or something like that.
Or not even. It's just like if you're going from Beacon to Poughkeepsie, because Poughkeepsie's the end of the line, basically.
Right.
They don't.
Yeah, from Poughkeepsie to Beacon, it's different. From Beacon to Poughkeepsie,
if you're going to Beacon, So I'm just like, oh wow, I didn't even think how close it really. Like, you don't even worry about driving or anything, but it's just so crazy. Like all these collective areas. I mean, that was really the biggest things were popping up. You know, Beacon blew up. Yeah. Kingston's on the rise. Like Kingston's blowing up. Poughkeepsie's blowing up. It's just like I'm ready for the Hudson Valley to finally be there.
Same.
You know?
And that's
why I didn't move. That's why I'm staying here. Like, I know a lot of people go to the city. I'm like, I really just want to wait it out. I want to be a part of the process. I want to be a part of what the film scene and just in general, not even film, just art scene in general becomes up here. Yeah,
and you know what it is here too? It's like you have, you know, not that I want to be like this big popular person, but you have more of a chance to be like, you know, the head guys, or at least close to the you know, for us.
Go to,
exactly. When you think of local, you know, filmmakers, you know, I hope they think of me. I'm sure, you know,
I mean,
there's a bunch of great guys. Thank you. There's a bunch of great guys. There's, you know, I know the North Guilds, like Devin Pickering and stuff.
Like, see, I don't know that. Like that's something that I'm great that you guys have this thing where, especially when
these guys are beautiful imagery, dude. Everything they do is just beautiful imagery, and it's a lot of stuff about the Hudson River. They do a good job. Do you know about Hudson TV?
No,
dude. Hudson TV is so yeah. We've talked randomly once or twice throughout the years, but what they're doing now is something really cool, and we definitely want to get involved with it as much as we can, and maybe start something similar. Obviously, not stepping on anybody's toes. We would just love to collaborate with them, because what they have created is like a Netflix for the Hudson Valley, where if you have a short film, they have an app. I can go on an app one day and be like, oh shit, Brenda Lynch. he shot a movie. I'm going to watch it right now.
Oh, wow, let's watch that.
Really cool stuff. Yeah. And it's all localized stuff. And I think that's what kind of me and you are on the same page with, where it's like, you know, we want this place to expand, but at the same time, we want to keep our roots and keep what Poughkeepsie is all about. And I think that's what, you know, my friend has been doing, you know, with his business. So he owns this building, and instead of making it into something, he's inviting people from the area to, you know, be in a space that is, you know, relatively good price. But he, you know, kind of saying, not saying no to, you know, I don't want to, you know, step on anybody's toes here either. But, you know, he just wants to build more things in the area so people are more attracted to come live in these new apartments and new things. And, you know, I love that mentality of it, you know, kind of keep Poughkeepsie, but also, you know, it's blowing up. And yeah, there's just so many things. Clearly I'm getting like overwhelmed right now about it. It's just, I'm very excited to be here as part of, you know, this like little renaissance, I guess you might call
No,
it, or something.
it really is.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. You know, I know like in general as a world, you know, everyone getting out of COVID, that's going to be a renaissance in itself. But I know Hudson Valley. I mean, I feel like we've always been on the cusp. Like I'm always feeling it, and now to actually see it happening,
and then it's coming
it's
up,
like it's going to go. It's been like this, and now, like you said, it's going to go boom straight.
Yeah, it's already happening. It's crazy. So yeah, so we got lucky and got put in that space, and we were originally going to go into the basement, and we were just like, ceilings are too low. Because originally too, we were like, this is space for us. But then when we saw the second floor and how much space we can get, we were like, we should make like a peer space type place where we rent it out to other like artists, other professionals that, you know, are willing to invest themselves enough to rent somewhere. But the thing is, like, you're not going to be spending much money here. We're going to hook everybody up, especially, you know, if you have Poughkeepsie on your driver's
your
license,
card, free pass. Come on, get in here.
Yeah, you know, we just really want to push it, and you know, we're in the works, so nothing's set in stone yet, but you know, we want to get Dutchess Community College and Poughkeepsie High School involved, and you know, have these students kind of come and use the space for free. And you know, like I said, when you're at a young age and you get kind of, you know, if I was handed a red Komodo with this giant infinity wall with Pavo tubes everywhere and Aperture Nova 300, whatever, you know, I wouldn't know what to do with it. You know, I would just I would remember it forever, you know? So again, not trying to make it be like, you know, I want to be a hero or anything like that, but like, those moments I remember my whole life, you know, when someone is nice and willing to go above and beyond. So that's what we want to do. And I've been living in Poughkeepsie my whole life, and I've had a business in Poughkeepsie. I just haven't had like a storefront almost, you know? So now that I do have this, it's, you know, it's definitely time to get back to, you know, Poughkeepsie has done a lot for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk about it all day.
Wow, dude, me too. That's what I think. I think we really hit it off. I feel like we have that same kind of energy and kind of mindset. Like, dude, this is where I live. This is where I was born.
Yeah.
You know, I wanna give. I wanna make, you know, people have the resources so they can achieve their dreams and their goals. But wow, I didn't know all that. So, I mean, you named like a bunch of stuff in the Hudson, Poughkeepsie, let alone that I didn't even know about. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, Hudson is kind of everywhere. I think both of them are located in Kingston, but they do stuff everywhere.
But still, it's like an hour, here. Not even like a half an hour away from here.
Yeah, it's and there's crazy. More. There's more. Those are just, you know, Hudson TV is doing an incredible job. And like I said, you know, the North Guild, I think it's just two guys. I know it's Devin Pickering. I don't know them like that. I just know them because, you know, me and my buddies, we looked at their stuff and we're like, that's just beautiful. You know, I like when I'm a very technical person. So I like, you know, like you were talking about composition before, obviously stands out. But, you know, when you know how to control the settings on a camera and get the best out of an image and the lighting you have, they do an incredible job. So definitely check them out. They're good.
I'm going to have to. Wow, that you just gave me a bunch of homework to do. That I'm gonna have to do.
I'll send it to you after.
I was gonna please do, and I'll definitely, for all you guys from the Hudson Valley and the Poughkeepsie area watching it, we'll put that in the description below. You know, it's good to have those resources. But yeah, so when did you say this the studio is gonna be like ready?
So it's been a long process. We should have been open already, but you know, it's with time comes more opportunities, and you know, now we have more stuff, and we're way more prepared than we were a couple months ago. So it's a blessing in disguise. But we technically open June 1st. But you know, it's going to be kind of a soft opening. I think June 15th we'll have kind of like a little party. I want to get a bunch of filmmakers in the area to kind of just send me their stuff, just to constantly play stuff on our cyclorama. But I'm obviously going to invite you. We just want nail
You hear
down
that
date
here,
and stuff.
guys?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We have to stay pretty safe with COVID restrictions and stuff like that. That's a whole nother animal. But we're just trying to get the community together again. And someone like you is clearly doing that. We'd love to have you there, and you and all your boys, whoever the hell you
Oh
want.
yeah. And we got a girl now too. Haley joined our team.
Awesome.
We're all friends from college. It's like when you get together with your friends and you get stuff like you have the same dream.
Yep.
It's just like
nothing like
together. It's nothing like it. And we
Yeah.
appreciate that. We'll be there.
Cool.
But Derek, thank you so much for talking with me about all this stuff. You got a lot.
Dude, I can't wait. You're getting me hyped too, so I appreciate it.
Derek, thank you so much again for taking the time to have us talk about what you do. And like I said, all that information, all of Derek's stuff, Good Time, film, and all that stuff will be in the description below. Thank you again, Derek.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good talking to you.